Hello everyone, and thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate that you watch them. Please click the like and subscribe buttons, and please leave a comment on your opinions of the stories I provide. Thank you, and have a great day. Am I the a-hole for losing my crap and screaming at my girlfriend to get out of my house after what her stepbrother did? My girlfriend was over at my place 2 days ago. We're both 20. She has a stepbrother who's 23. Before this, I'd only met him a few times and he seemed like a regular dude. She asked if it was okay for him to come over too for a couple of hours. I said why not. He said he would get booze and pizza, and my parents were away visiting relatives for the weekend, so I figured we could shoot the crap. I have a little sister who's 15. They came over and she stayed up in her room the entire time. We were all a bit tipsy and my girlfriend's stepbrother asked if he could use the washroom. I pointed him to the one down the hall. My girlfriend and I were preoccupied and didn't even realize how much time he was taking until we heard raised voices upstairs. We immediately went up to check what was going on and found my sister crying. Dude had gone up instead of using the washroom. My sister's door had been ajar, so he apparently walked into her room. All details I managed to wrangle from my crying sister, by the way. She was taken by shock and was trying to stay calm, but he wasn't leaving. He was trying to chat her up. She told him to GTFO and he closed the door behind him instead, which is why she started freaking out. She tried to get past him to open the door and he grabbed her, but she managed to open it anyway. I'd reached the landing by then, so he backed off. Obviously, I was super freaking pissed. There was a lot of screaming going on, lots of accusations. We were all drunk except for my sister. After getting the story from her, my girlfriend's stepbrother was stuttering and deflecting. I'm pretty sure I threatened violence at some point. My girlfriend was trying to be the mediator. She said I had to calm down and couldn't fly off the handle based on word of mouth. But I was there. I saw my sister crying in panic. I know what she's like, and I know she wouldn't lie about something like this. Why would she? I told her stepbrother to get out of my house. My girlfriend kept saying we could sort this out and have a proper conversation, but I didn't see what conversation was there to be had. Eventually she said, what if my sister was lying in front of my sister's face? I asked her what on earth would make her think that, and she said she's a kid and could be making it up for attention. Like the title said, I lost my crap. I told her to get the freak out, and afterwards she kept calling me, but I ignored everything. The dust has settled a bit. I went over everything again with my little sister. She promised me it had happened the way she was telling me. She told me she was scared he was going to SA her. My girlfriend texted me this morning saying I shouldn't have raised my voice like that, and I scared her. I thought of apologizing then, but she still hadn't said a word about apologizing to my sister or addressing the issue with her stepbrother. I only replied that we had to talk, and she said there's nothing to talk about, there's no hard proof, in her words, and the stepbrother ended up doing nothing, so she told me she would deal with him and I should drop it. I don't know if I'm the a-hole for the way I handled this. Maybe if cooler heads prevailed, this silent treatment wouldn't have happened and we could have discussed everything. I'd take what to do from now on either. I love that girl. I don't want us to be over, so I want some advice on where to go from here too. Edits. Thank you to everybody who commented and left advice. I've posted an update. Update 2 days later. First off, thanks to everyone who commented on my previous post. I tried to read as many comments as I could. I got some great advice. My girlfriend asked me yesterday if we could talk in person. I agreed. We met at a public park. She showed up already looking on the verge of tears. U/buttered_crumpet9. Your comment was goated. I basically said it word for word to her, lol. She let me speak and was silent for a long time before she said she was sorry for the way she had reacted. She told me she had been drunk and panicked and hadn't been thinking clearly and was trying to stop it from becoming a fight. We discussed her stepbrother. She told me he has a weird streak and acts oddly sometimes. She told me he genuinely could have made a mistake and didn't mean any harm. I asked why he'd gone upstairs in the first place, and why he'd shut himself in with my sister on finding out he was in the wrong room. No answer. I asked how she was so sure he had no perverted intentions. No answer. Some of you suggested that the stepbrother might have had a history and even might have done something to her. I didn't outright say it, but I was implying it. I kept saying, what if he had gone further? What if he's assaulted someone before and you don't know about it, etc. I asked if there had been incidents like this before, and how she could possibly downplay what happened. She didn't have anything to say, but again, at that point she was too choked up to speak properly, so I don't think she could have answered even if she wanted to. Anyways, I wasn't there to listen to excuses or justifications, and I told her that. She asked me if we were over, and I said the only way we could move forward was if she apologized to my little sister and then stopped all contact with her stepbrother. I just don't see a scenario where my sister feels comfortable around him again. She told me she didn't want to lose me, but she couldn't do what I asked from her, so I told her yes, we're done. My parents came back this morning, by the way. Like I said, they had been out of town at relatives' place. I hadn't told them about this over the phone, I just said an incident had happened, and I would explain when they got back. My sister asked me to speak to them on her behalf, and I told them everything. My dad gave me a lot of crap, rightfully so. He says he wants to speak to my ex's parents about this, let them know what their son did. Police here are about as useful as boobs on a bull, but we discussed it and we're going to file a report/auto denartitia anyway. I highly doubt it will go anywhere, but at least it will be a record in the system. My sister is doing better. She was really shaken up. She asked if she could sleep in my parents' room or mine for a bit. We will probably arrange a therapy or counseling session for her and let her decide if she wants to continue. I'm going to take her bowling and then we'll get food, just the two of us, so I can also apologize on my part. I feel upset. I feel guilty, actually. I trusted my ex, and me being naive put my little sister in danger. I've always thought I was a responsible person, and this happening when I was supposed to be in charge is screwing me up. I'm pissed at myself, not gonna lie, but we move. My favorite comments to read were the ones telling me what to do to the stepbrother. I don't ever want to see his face again, but in case I do, someone let me know if you have a wood chipper lying around. Thanks again, everybody. Edit. Some things people have asked if I can run a background check or something. I don't think it's legal for a civilian to do that in my country, Portugal, and I don't know if I can request one. I'll see though. Also, to everybody commenting about underage drinking, I was so confused. That's not a problem here, LMO. I won't be incriminating myself or anything by filing a report, so don't worry. So, my 32 female boyfriend, 34, is upset with me because I didn't make his plate and serve it to him during Christmas. Where do I go from here? Our 5-year anniversary is a couple weeks from now, and we have a 2-year-old. I didn't know anything was wrong until we started the 5-hour drive home after spending the holidays with my family. He was quiet pretty much the whole way, and snapped at me when I asked why he was following too closely behind a vehicle and also driving fast. As soon as we get home, he leaves without a word for a couple hours, gets back and says he went to the mall to buy a couple more gifts and some shoes for himself. I'm annoyed because I have been telling him for weeks to pick out shoes and I will buy them for his upcoming birthday. He's really hard to shop for and picky about his clothes. So I asked him why he bought himself shoes when I wanted to buy him some as a gift. He says in rude tone, "Send me 100 then, because that's how much they were." I finally asked him what his problem was, and he was upset that I didn't make him a plate. I spent over 4 hours cooking for my whole family, also cooked for Christmas Eve the day before. I was tired. The holidays are exhausting. I couldn't believe he was upset about that. He seemed annoyed on Boxing Day because we ordered pizza, and I made a plate for my stepfather who uses a cane. I told him to make himself a plate, and he just sat there. He also said I barely looked at him during our visit, and if I did, I didn't smile or look at him lovingly. Like I said, I was tired. My 2-year-old was also extra clingy, so I felt overstimulated and just tried to be present with my family. Lastly, he was mad because I didn't go sledding with him and my family. I stayed back with my sister and baby niece and we watched a rom-com. I wanted to relax and have some me time, and he was upset about that, saying I just wanted to go on my phone, which I did. I got to watch TikToks and just scroll for a bit. Anyway, after we got home and had this conversation, I got upset and went to have dinner by myself while he took our child for a walk. As soon as I got home, he left again and didn't come back for 4 hours. We have barely spoken, and I don't want to be the one to sit down and start this conversation, to coddle him and make him feel better. I'm so sick of this. Where do I go from here? Now for some top comments. Why are you allowing this toxic relationship to continue? He's a grown adult. He can get his own plate. OP. It's my first long-term relationship, my first love. I asked myself this question as well. Low self-esteem perhaps, but I've just started therapy again, so I'm hoping things will get better for my mental health. Sounds like you are a servant to him, not a partner. Considering his age, this most likely comes from deeply rooted misogyny and won't change. Watch out for isolation attempts. The way he didn't like you taking some me time with your family, but wanted you to be with him and his family instead, doesn't bode well. Do not prioritize his family over yours is my advice. You don't want to end up isolated from your closest people with a controlling sexist man, and it seems like you may end up exactly there. Be careful, OP. His behavior is so outrageous, it shouldn't be acceptable. He was angry that you weren't at his beck and call at all times as the woman, and this will only get worse. Please dump his butt. You will do so much better without him, OP. You're right. He has trauma from his mother, and I feel like he hates me sometimes when all I do is work, cook for my family, take care of our child, paying for daycare and drops-offs and pickups, and stay home. He always finds something to be mad about with me. If he isn't being jealous, then he's mad I don't clean enough, or wants some alone time. Update, 16 days later. Like an absolute dumbbutt, I cried my eyes out and told him how I felt, and he didn't have anything to say. Just that he's sorry and will do better. We were okay for a week. Today is our 5-year anniversary. Well, would have been. He broke up with me today. I've had to stay home all week with our child because of a parasite, and waiting for tests. On Thursday I got sick, and still am sick, with what feels like a chest cold/infection. The morning of our anniversary he goes rock climbing. I don't know what time he left, but was gone until noon. I was pissed, and texted him it would have been nice to have help while I rested. I cancelled the reservations I made to the restaurant that we met at. When I told him this, he ripped up the card he got me, told me he's going to stay elsewhere and we're done. He said I am miserable and just want to be sad, and that I make him pay with all the ways my dad failed me. My father could care less about me, and I have daddy issues. Lol, I don't think I'm being unreasonable for expecting him to spend the whole day or coming back early from climbing. I didn't even get a good morning happy anniversary text. But it is what it is. Anyways, y'all were right. I knew it in my heart but didn't want to believe it. There's no coming back from this, but I'm okay. Thank you for letting me vent and for all of your advice. It's nice to come back and read all the positive support.